So today we wanted to bring on two people who are absolutely near and dear to our hearts. They've been on this journey for a long time alongside us. They are uh, ultimately the poster children for everything that we've created over the last few years, starting with Fast Track to Marriage and with the online content, Connection DNA. So those of you who know what that is, those are our a couple of our courses that we have, and so
They
we're
actually
excited.
were here through the transition too, as we launched and they co-founded Epic Your Life movement with us, creating extraordinary, and they definitely are influencers and movers and shakers for creating extraordinary. It's super awesome to be partnered with them and to get to work with them on a daily basis to help change and transform lives. So it's perfectly appropriate that we would start our podcast with our dear friends, and as we love to call them, eternal alliances.
Yes.
Long term, baby. So let's bring them on. Jesse and Irina. Welcome.
Jesse and Irina Kauffman.
That's right.
Here, here.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome. So glad you're here.
So good to have you guys. So I would love for the two of you to just start out by sharing your story. How you got started with us, way back when, and what that's kind of looked like leading up to now.
Sure, absolutely. Well, of course, my journey started, being old order Amish in northern Indiana for 30 some years. And through a powerful encounter spiritually, I ultimately was excommunicated. And all that time I was single. And for the next decade up to the age of 40, I was still single, waiting on God and believing for something to happen in that area, wanting to get married, having lots of friends that were girls, being surrounded with friends in general, heavily involved in the world of ministry and everything supernatural, and doing lots of good things that were fulfilling, and only to find out that all those fulfilling things were just filling a wife-shaped hole in my heart. And I came to that revelation through learning a few things from Carlos, through Fast Track to Marriage, a webinar that he was doing during COVID when things shut down and they kind of went more towards the online stuff. And at that point in my life, around April or May of 2020, I was just sick and tired of being single. I put a post on Facebook basically saying, help, any advice and words of encouragement appreciated. Hit me, guys. And I got great comments and encouragement from friends far and wide. And then a dear friend of mine messaged me privately and said, hey, have you heard about Carlos and Chantel? They're doing a Fast Track to Marriage webinar in a few weeks. And I said, sign me up now. And so I attended 3 of those 3 months in a row. And that through that process is where I ultimately met Irina, and we started communicating. And after the 3rd month of Fast Track, they created some content that I immediately dove into, invested into. And through that process, it took things to the next level, attended a retreat, proposed, and got married. And the rest is history. That's 3 years ago, as of last November 18th.
Yeah.
A retreat, that's right.
Yeah, shotgun wedding.
And that was what, 2021, right?
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
2020. Wow. Goodness.
Yeah.
November 18th.
That's crazy. This year it'll be 4-year anniversary.
So that's my nutshell story.
Yeah, so tell from your perspective, Irina.
Well, not same as Jesse's, but I was single and got kind of shocked by COVID, because being social and being involved in ministry and in church, I got filled up and fulfilled in the social aspect of things. And then when COVID happened, I realized that, oh my, now I can't even hug people. I can't socialize with people in person. that sucks. Like, I want to be married for real now. It kind of shook me up. And through that, I was asking God, I said, I want to get married and help me. I need help. And another person invited me also to fast track to marriage. And I said, sure, why not? I mean, I've tried other things and this is great. We'll find out what that is. And through that, as Jesse mentioned, that we've met, followed directions and practice. And after we got married, well, before that, we processed through a lot of things. Okay, it was not an easy process, but it's so worth it because it helps you to get through your triggers and agreements that you created a while back that was holding you back from being married or holding me back. We got married, and right after our wedding, Carlos invited Jesse to work with them.
And once
Right.
I discovered that me waiting on God, it was actually God waiting on me. That's where I decided okay, enough praying and thinking about it. It's action time. As soon as I got the revelation that God's been waiting on me all this time, and I need to give him some meaningful action to back up what I claim to believe, so that he has something to bless and to steer.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would say through this process, we also discovered our mission and vision for life. And because of that, we aligned on it. And then when Carlos and Chantal invited Jesse to be part of the company, we also were aligning on the mission with you guys. And so that kind of felt natural to come on board and, again, not waiting on God, but take action and ask God to steer us the right direction in that.
So good. So the two of you have not only joined us in our mission, right? Being passionate about marriage, but like your passion is at a whole different level than Carlos and I. So tell us about your passion, where that comes from and what you really want to do here on earth while you're here. Like, what is it that you guys go after every single day?
It's a pyramid-shaped passion. On the front end of it, it might look like it's all about just helping singles get married. And it's connected to the challenge of our own journey. And so we understand what it's like to be single when you don't want to be single, you want to be married. But then that's not the end all be all. That's just the beginning of it. It then goes into recognizing that there's an enemy or an entity out there that does not want us to get married and to have babies and to expand the kingdom of God. We are also fulfilling a mission upon this earth by helping couples get married, have a fruitful, abundant, equally yoked marriage, and have babies, and expand their influence through their legacy in that way, more long-term, eternally. And so that's more the big picture of it.
And being yoked, meaning being yoked on their mission and vision, because that is important. We discovered that it's different from what we learned back in the days. If you're yoked on the mission and vision together, then you're going to be pulling same direction.
So the two of you have definitely felt that and displayed that, right? That yoking and pulling towards the mission. What are some of the challenges that the two of you have faced, coming, at the beautiful age in your 40s, right? into marriage, having dealt with both religious and, ministry mindset, even some, sexual oppression, so to speak. And what are the challenges that you've faced coming into your marriage, and kind of share with us, a little bit more on the passion of why you're so passionate about helping others.
Well, first thing that comes to mind for me is, especially coming from a culture that was heavy on the realm of sexual purity and abstinence and celibacy and no physical touch between the genders until you're married, to the point of shutting down sexuality and its expression thereof. And although I was never, myself personally, was never got hung up with pornography, there were still a lot of mindsets and beliefs that I had believed and incorporated that was shutting that part of me down, to the point of being told that even fantasizing that's a sin, that's wrong, and you should never fantasize. Well, I discovered that that's not all there is to it. Fantasizing about a future wife is, I discovered, what I should have been doing, and that's what keeps drives you, motivates you, and to not shut down that part of you in its healthy, free expression. And so the biggest challenge was in being in that state of mind for 30 years of my mature adult life, and then getting married, was then the challenge of reawakening that and keeping it awake. And yeah, I guess just that.
Yeah, being single until 40s, we already were shaped as individuals and lived lives, as singles. And coming together, we needed to learn how to actually function in the marriage together as a couple, learning how to accept each other and each other's ways and things that we're doing. And so there's just so much that we had to embrace and shift and learn. I feel like in the beginning, we had so many triggers that we're overcoming, mostly me. Jesse came in as pretty much no triggers. I'm kidding. And that was a challenge as well. So as older singles, we had to go through that. And again, because we have the tools, it's been so much faster and easier. We don't have that. We don't get triggered by same things as we did in the beginning. Part of our passion is also to help younger singles to get married and not wait until they're 40. There is no reason to wait. When you discover your mission and you know why you're here and what you're here to do, when you're married, you have a greater authority together to walk that out. It's so beautiful when you partner up with your spouse. A lot of singles are staying until they're single until their 40s, 30s, 50s. It's because they don't see value in marriage. And also because our society and culture teaches us that, hey, get career into your, schedule, you're traveling, get all the fun done. And when you finish with all of that, then get married.
Speaking from personal experience here, whatever singles put in front of them as to accomplish this or that, or achieve this or that before marriage, already that's a mental cycle that will keep them on the treadmill of singlehood until they shift away from that, recognizing that God actually designed us to fulfill life together, yoked up, fulfilling our mission together, not getting our ducks all in a row before we're qualified to get married, but to get married and then work together on getting your life ducks in a row, or so to speak. It is painful for us to see even younger singles already in that cycle where we can predict their future, that unless they change something, they're going to stay single for a while. Some do catch on and change and they get married. Many, I'm like, how can I speak to them from the heart, to their heart, to where they really catch on to this, that you got to change course or you're going to stay like this for a long time. And I imagine, well, like, what would have gotten my attention back when I was that age? And I'm not sure. I'm still trying to pick that one apart, because the younger we are, it's just kind of naturally in us to, you know, think that, oh, we have plenty of time. And we got it figured out between
Well,
I've got God and the Bible, and that's all I need. Somehow it'll all work out until you hit 30 and 40 and you start asking some questions. Wait a minute. This isn't working out like I thought it was going to work out. Now I just like, I'll never be married in my, never know what it's like to be married in my 20s or my 30s. It's gone. I can't go back in time and make up that time.
it definitely seems that the world gives us more excuses to stay single than it does married. I should be out of debt. That's a lot of times what the men say. I need to have a good job, good paying job before I get married. I need to have some money set aside to pay for the marriage. I need to have like a good education before I get married. I need to, you know, and all what you realize you start to see is all that really is marketing for all those different things to get done. For it's the people that want those things done that are saying those things to people, or even like Chantel brought up the ministry thing, right? That is a true reality. Now, whether I don't believe they're doing it maliciously, but the church is notorious for helping people stay single. Let's just use them. They're available for ushers. They're available for the nursery. They're available for this, right? Because they don't have a wife or kids or a spouse, excuse me, or kids that they have to be responsible for. So they can volunteer for everything. So let's just keep them volunteering. And so again, that's why I say it seems like there's a lot more excuses for them to stay single than married.
Not only excuses, but let's go to what that does to somebody's identity.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you understand that. What did that do? Like, you have found your fulfillment in serving God, and outside of serving God, you felt like you weren't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, would you say that's true?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, you got rewarded for being single and serving God, whether it's worship team, youth group, right? That was a big deal for you, Jesse. And it's a good thing. That's what's really challenging. Man, you're a great youth pastor and hanging out with the youth, or a great worship leader and helping the younger singles, right? to help them get closer to God. And what's so fascinating, let's just talk about this verse, because I think even this verse is used as like a negative thing, but I'm here to say it's a very positive thing that should just blow every single person's mind to get married fast track to marriage.
Jesse and Irina Kauffman, what do you believe and why? And why are you excited about what you're currently doing, the trajectory you're on, and how you can influence others?
Okay, so what do I believe about marriage and why? Well, first of all, it was God's original design in a perfect world. Be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. It was the original design. It was God's idea, not ours. And I recognize that the more we align with original design and original creation, the more freedom and flow and fulfillment you'll find on that path. Recognizing that I was not in that flow during my 20s and 30s. And remembering the pain of those 20 years is what drives and motivates me to help others to avoid needlessly walking that path because of ignorance or bad teaching and limiting mindsets and beliefs. It really is rooted in our own journey. Honestly, that's the driving point for me. It's painful for me to see older singles staying single and they're getting older, and because it's personal. That's why. We
had great single lives, and we have even better marriage life now. In the last 3+ years now of being married, we've discovered that marriage is beautiful. You can create what you want your marriage to be and your life to be. When you're on a mission together, again, discovering your mission and your vision in life is a huge thing. I think a lot of singles are lost because they don't know what their mission and vision is, their identity, right? We're being told what we're supposed to believe and what we are, who we are. So discovering that is so powerful. That's what drives you. That's what leads you to fulfill it. Doing it together is much, much more fulfilling than doing it by yourself. And you can do more things in ministry, in life, traveling, having good time. When you have a best friend by your side all the time, how amazing is that?
Not
right?
to mention that we worked 3 times harder to achieve single what we now achieve together married.
Yeah. And you know, the other thing too is that Carlos mentioned it's better be married to burn than to burn with desire. We can have intimacy as long and as many times as we want to. It's beautiful, it's pure, it's fun, it's exciting.
Complete and total restoration of earth back to original design and creation as God intended it. And every family that we impact that is operating in shalom and freedom and according to original design and creation is another pocket of influence wherever they're living at, and one household at a time. You know, it has a compounding effect because we know that they'll then go and influence other lives
and raise children in that environment.
Right. So
Yeah.
good. When I think about our contrast, actually, like my previous marriage, I was married at 19. So it's like I'm just looking at this and blown away thinking like, wow, nobody can argue with us because we have the two very different contrasts, you know, and 20-year difference of marriage and getting married young, getting married older, but the experience too of what that looks like. And it's interesting because when we started, we started with Fast Track to Marriage and helping singles, and then it helped you. But it's super powerful now to see 3 years later, now it's cycling back through, and you definitely have more of a story and more of an impact because you went through the process, and now you're actually leading others in the process almost 4 years later now. So it's really powerful. Would you agree with that? Tell me a little bit about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the whole Fast Track to Marriage and taking that over now, like actually being the drivers of that.
For us, it's exciting because being married now for 3 years, people looking at us differently now. Okay, you have some time already in the marriage. You're still here, you're still doing this, have so many results. We've done it over and over and over again with the Connection DNA course and bringing more content through Radical Connections TV that we had for 3 years now, and being consistent with that, giving the value that we learned. And also we're learning things in marriage too, you know, from each other. And my husband is my great teacher and the leader in that too, and I learn a lot from him. So leading that is really awesome for us to have that kind of in our hands.
Yeah, so being a product of the product, you know, Fast Track, you know, we were birthed through the process, and we just do what was done for us, and it's just duplication. It's not complicated.
Where can they find you? Jesse and Irina Kauffman. Where is Fast Track to Marriage located? What are some other avenues or platforms that they can find the two of you on
Your
to
YouTube
learn
channel.
how to get married?
Yeah, well, the first one for Fast Track to Marriage, obviously, it's on Facebook, first and primarily, but then also the recordings of that are found on a platform that we have our larger community. It's on a platform called SKOOL, and we can obviously provide links for all of everything that we're going to share below this video somewhere.
Epic Your Life.
Epic Your Life community on SKOOL is where we have the recordings along with a lot of other things. But Fast Track to Marriage, you know, the new live streams that we do every so often, once a month, once in a while we skip a month. That's on Facebook, and you can just literally type in fast track, then the number 2, marriage, and it'll pop up. Just submit a request to join and we'll approve it, and just hang tight until the next live stream. And once people want to graduate from that and they want something with more meat, something they can sink their teeth into, we just pop them over to SKOOL for a small subscription fee.
And where can they find Radical Connections TV?
YouTube.
Okay.
Go for it, Irina.
Yes, Jesse and Irina Kauffman or Radical Connections TV. You can find us under both of those on YouTube, and come join us.
So
Most
good.
of the time, the things that we share on our Radical Connections TV, we try to make it as recent and as relatable as possible to something that we either are walking out or have overcome. And sometimes we just speak to the old us back in the day and just
Good.
pray it hits somebody
Yeah.
and
Good.
changes their life.
And of course, on SKOOL, EpicYourLife group is together with you guys,
Yes.
having our big course there, flagship course, the Connection DNA, which is evolving and changing now and growing into the new thing. We have a big community there and it's always growing. So come join us. There's a lot of things there, a lot of value. Carlos and Chantel do live videos 3-4 times a week.
And of course, if there's somebody, that rare person watching that says, "Oh, screw it, hit me. Let's just dive into the deep stuff." Well, then I guess we could provide a link below to schedule a call with Carlos or myself, whichever you prefer, and where we interview you to see where you're at, you know, your level of readiness to plug into some more hands-on mentorship and come to one of our retreats that we do together. That's where the real results happen fast, because there's more meat on that bone.
I mean, that's where you guys shotgun wedding happened, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
It was a whirlwind for all of us, but such a blessing and such an honor to have you guys alongside us in this journey, in this mission of marriage mastery. We adore you. We're so grateful for everything that you do and everything you pour into the community. You're phenomenal.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
being here.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you for having us.
Yeah, so we're grateful for you guys. It wouldn't be happening if you didn't started it. It's been
So-
awesome.
So
you,
good to be on the
COVID.
journey together. Yeah. Right.
Right.
So good. So good to be on the journey together. We love you guys. Thanks for being here and being a part of this Epic Your Life podcast. So good. Well, that was Jesse and Irina Kauffman, Radical Connection TV on YouTube, or look up their names, Jesse and Irina Kauffman. Super powerful couple and very, very passionate, as you can see, about seeing singles get married. So
Yes.
till next time, we'll see you on our next episode, our next podcast. Good day.
Good day.
Carlos and Chantel.